I have often said that John Calipari is like these trainers that point horses for the Kentucky Derby each year. Some trainers get a great horse in their barn and they end up in the Derby. Others, like Baffert and Pletcher, etc., they make it a big part of their program to have clients that can provide them with horses that they can point for the Kentucky Derby each year. And so those guys generally have horses and often leading contenders year in and year out. And with a horse that you're preparing for the Derby, first of all, you only have one chance to run in it as a 3-year-old. And secondly, it's on the same date every year, so the horse has to peak on the first Saturday in May in order to win the Kentucky Derby. Could still be a champion 3-year-old winning other races, but to win the Derby, you just got the one shot. And I think it's like that for Calipari, more so than probably any other coach, because they do so well in recruiting. They've got so many new faces every year. There's so much turnover that even though this year they have 4 returning players, albeit 2 of them out with injuries right now, that with the turnover in the roster, Calipari is like those trainers with Derby horses. Each team is very unique. It's, again, very little carryover. So he gets one shot with each team, and they have to peak in the 3rd, 4th week of March. And more often than not, it's really been amazing that they've done that consistently. They haven't gone to a Final Four since 15, but they were right there on the brink last year and in 2017. So you think about a guy like Baffert, who won 3 of the first 6 derbies that he had horses in, and then he went 13 years without winning one. And he had horses in contention that was a runner-up 2 or 3 times. And then after 13 years of not winning it, he had 2 Triple Crown winners in a span of 3 years. So it is a small margin for error at that highest level, be it in the pursuit of the Kentucky Derby or in college sports, where you just get that one shot, and a lot of things have to come together, talent being one of them, but a lot of other things have to come together to make it work. One of the best pieces of advice I got from Cawood Ledford one time was that you sound better when they win. And I have come to have a tremendous appreciation for that. We were doing our radio broadcast at South Carolina several years ago in a game that midway through the 4th quarter was 54-3 in favor of the Gamecocks. And Dick Gabriel is our reporter down on the sidelines doing injury updates and things. And he will have to take his headphones off to get those injury updates, and then he'll jump back on and give us the information. Well, one of those times when he wasn't listening to us and was gathering information, something I said, he actually then repeated about 2 minutes later when he got back on the headphones and on the mic. And we went to a break, and our engineer said, "Gabe, Tom just said that 2 minutes ago. Am I the only one listening to this broadcast?" I said, "Sadly, John, that may well be true at this point." The football call with a touchdown, it's similar to a home run in baseball. They don't happen often during a game, and so you can develop at times a kind of a signature way to call them most of the time. And so I was, after a week or two, Jim suggested I should try to look for something like that, not to make it forced, but just see if anything felt right, and if it did, then you would just continue to use that most of the time on touchdown plays for Kentucky. And so I was trying to think of something, and everything sounded forced or too planned. And then Kentucky went up to Indiana and won 49-7, Couch threw 7 touchdown passes that day. And so I just started saying touchdown Kentucky with a lot of excitement because there were some exciting plays. And that just kind of stuck. It felt natural, and it became kind of the signature phrase, the way that those things usually should work, just kind of organically, that you come up with something and it connects with the audience and it feels right and it doesn't feel forced. And so it's continued that way ever since. Just kind of that's how it happened through scoring 7 touchdowns in one game, because something has a chance to catch on. If you score 1-2 touchdowns a month, it's not going to catch on quite as much. So again, grateful that my timing was good there.